Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Foundation Matters webinar. Thank you for joining us as we continue to explore practical, Rotary-ready strategies to strengthen our impact. I'm Sandra Hempstead, Chair of the Foundation Regional Action Plans for Zone 33 and 34, and I'll host tonight's event, along with my colleague, Jeanette Loftus, Regional Rotary Foundation Coordinator for Zone 34, who will moderate the Q&A segment of our webinar. Tonight's topic is creating lasting impact through the Rotary Foundation. I love the quote that says, Rotary enables ordinary people to do extraordinary things. The impact we make as Rotarians is truly extraordinary. This month's session will take a deeper look at how Rotary defines impact and the building blocks needed to create long-term, sustainable change through foundation-supported projects. We'll also share a real-life example from Haiti, highlighting water system projects that go beyond infrastructure to create lasting behavioral change, including a shift in community attitudes about the importance of clean water. Now, we're especially fortunate tonight to be joined by outstanding Rotary leaders and experts, each bringing experience and a shared passion for creating lasting change through the Rotary Foundation. It's my pleasure to introduce them. First, I'd like to introduce Barb Koosters. Barb holds a master's degree in business administration, a master's in public health, and she's a retired clinical researcher in cardiology and public health. Barb wears many hats in Rotary, including a hand wash board member, a chair of the hand wash steering committee, a past district governor from Northern California, and a current District Rotary Foundation Chair in Southwest Florida, District 6960. She's also a lecturer in biostatistics at the University of California, Berkeley, master's degree program in public health. Barb has a head for numbers and analytics and a heart for Rotary service. She's passionate about understanding impact, the long-term positive results of our actions. Moving an organization from individual project success to program level impact in water and sanitation is a leadership journey Barb finds thrilling. When not on Zooms with Global Wash partners or biostats learners, Barb enjoys a beautiful life in Florida with her husband Eckhart, Buddy the Golden Doodle, and Patty the English Setter. Welcome, Barb. I'm also pleased to introduce Alex Pedro Bonham. Alex is a Haitian economist with over 6 years of experience in project management and monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning, which has the acronym MEAL. He strongly believes that data-driven decision-making can catalyze meaningful and sustainable change in Haiti by fostering continuous learning and the design of context-specific and adaptive solutions to development challenges. At Handwash, he has led the monitoring and evaluation department since January of 2024. He holds a bachelor's degree in economics from Université de Notre Dame de Haiti and is currently deepening his expertise in public policy, impact evaluation, and data science. And I'm really excited to say he is going to be the newest Rotary member in District 7020 when he joins the Rotary Club of Lacaille next week at the district conference. We're really excited for you, Alex, and very glad that you're with us tonight. Now, it's truly an honor for me to welcome my friend, Patrick Eakes. Patrick represents us zones 33 and 34 on the Rotary International Board of Directors. And he helps to guide Rotary's global strategy and strengthening our ability to create impact around the world. He has been a strong advocate for the Rotary Foundation and its power to transform lives. Patrick will be sharing closing reflections this evening, and we're especially grateful to have him with us as he's very busy completing his term in the RI board in June. Patrick, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your service, and thank you for your passion for the Rotary Foundation. Now, I'd like to invite Barb to begin our conversation about creating lasting impact through the Rotary Foundation. Barb, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sandra. Thanks, everyone. It's wonderful and delightful to be here with everyone. This is a super exciting topic and one of my favorites. Let's get our slides started. There we go. So, Foundation Matters, April 2026. It's all about impact. Let's take a look at this and let's think about this for a minute. What does impact mean to you? Impact is one of those words that everybody has kind of their own take on it a little bit. It means different things to different people. But what we're going to look at is what it means to Rotary. So when we think about our Rotary vision, we talk about together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe in our communities and in ourselves. So creating lasting change, that's impact. That is impact. If we look at that next slide, this is the Rotary definition of impact. It's the long-term positive change that results from our actions, specifically from our actions. And when we dive a little deeper into impact, we see that it can be initiated by the community and needs to be initiated by the community. It needs to be sustainable, needs to be community owned, and it needs to be measurable, right? So anything that we do in any of our projects or programs, it needs to follow this essential architecture. It needs to start with the community and start with what the community determines are their priorities, and that community owns it in the long run. So in order for them to have lasting change, it has to belong to them. And we need to be able to measure everything that we do so that we can tell our story in better ways with deeper meaning, and create more impact across other locations. So when we think about impact and think about the global wash problem, we sometimes think of pictures like this, where we see people lined up to try to find water. When we look at this, we see water, we see people lined up, we see water jugs, and we see actually small volumes of water. And we see this as really kind of a stunning image. But really, when we think about it a little bit more, what is actually the problem to solve here? What problem are we trying to solve? Is this a problem about clean water supply? Is this a problem about waterborne diseases? Is it a problem about education and jobs? Is it a problem about community priorities and governance? So everybody that was standing in that line in that photo that we were looking at, what problem is the community trying to solve, right? And what do we do when we come to help solve those problems? So when we think about helping folks solve those problems, we think about our global grant structure. And when we think about our global grants, we think about a typical water sanitation and hygiene global grant. We think about pipes, we think about pumps, and we think about panels, right? So a typical WASH global grant is all about getting the infrastructure in place. But let's think about that a little bit more for a minute. Is improving our supply really the answer to the question? Is the problem that we're solving just about getting water and wells and infrastructure, the pipes, the pumps, and the panels? Well, I think what we know and we've seen when we've analyzed and reviewed programs over time, maybe pipes, pumps, and panels isn't the answer all alone. These are photos of pipes and pumps, hand pumps that were installed with the greatest of intentions. People saw, oh my gosh, these folks need water. Let's do a borehole, put in a pump. Let's get them some water. But pumps and pipes alone, this is what happens 5 years later, 3 years later, 10 years later. It's abandoned. It's not working. There was no sort of vision around what is it really going to take to keep that water supply going long term for the community. So when we think about impact, we have to say that impact is intentional. It's pipes, it's pumps, it's panels, and it's people, right? It's the positive long-term change resulting from our actions that's initiated in the community. It's sustainable in the community, and it's measurable in the community. So let's look at our building blocks to impact, what impact really looks like. So it's a stepwise function, right? And it talks about we need inputs, we need outputs, outcomes, and impact. Let's look at some examples of this. So they said that the input is the resource we invest in a project. The outputs are the immediate results of the activities that took place given the resources we invested. The outcome is that intermediate result, and impact is that positive long-term change resulting from our actions. So let's look at a wash project. So the inputs really are the pipes, the pumps, the panels, the funding, and the material. Those are our inputs. Our outputs are going to be the number of people who were trained, how many wells did we drill, how much materials were delivered to that community. The outcomes that we're looking for is a change in behavior or attitudes. Tariffs are paid by the community members. ODF, is this community open defecation free? And have they adopted systems and practices that are encouraged by the project? This is what we're looking for. We're looking for change. And our impact is reliable, sustainable wash services and a reduction in diarrheal diseases. This is what we want from our wash projects, not just pipes, pumps, and panels. We want long-term, lasting change in the way the community owns its own infrastructure, the way it decides how it's going to govern the things that it's doing to make sure that wash is part of their future, part of their life on a day-to-day basis. So again, our building blocks tell us that we have to have pipes, pumps, panel, and people to get things done. This is a wonderful example of exactly that. This is a photo in Haiti, where they've rehabilitated one of the water systems down in the Cavaillon area. So this is the inauguration, and it's done with the local governing teams, the local Rotarians, local community members, and the local water committee that has set the tariffs for folks to subscribe to the system. So we're going to talk a little bit about hand wash 2.0, and the impact logic of hand wash. So hand wash is a Rotary convened, government aligned, and community led initiative in Haiti to bring clean water, sanitation, and hygiene to everyone in Haiti. And it's built on 3 integrated pillars that lead to impact. The first pillar is about creating demand and behavior change in the community. The second pillar is about professional service delivery. This is our infrastructure piece. And the third piece, level 3, the third pillar, is about local governance and accountability. So we need all 3 of these to work in order for us to have lasting change and positive impact in a water sanitation and hygiene program in Haiti. So when we think about how this all works together, it's intentional, it's measurable, it's meaningful, and it's powerful to get to these long-term positive changes that we're looking at. And so I would recommend, I know that Sandra had this up on the screen a little while ago, but I completely recommend to everyone that you take a look at this impact handbook, because it's excellent. It's about what measurement is and why it matters, how to create the path to the goal, looking at indicators, looking at the data, using the data to tell our stories, and a number of other resources. I have this on my desk all the time, and I sincerely recommend it to everyone on this call. It's an outstanding resource. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Alex.
Thank you, Bob. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure for me to be there with you this evening to share with you the story about how NWASH is building the foundation to its impact. As Bob has showed in the previous slide, so the NWASH model is built on 3 pillars. And my presentation is about when demand, supply, and governance mutually reinforce each other to produce sustainable impact. Next slide, please. Okay, so here you can see this illustration about how the NWASH model works. At NWASH, we believe that greater demand for high quality wash services is the driver of change. The demand from the ground, from the local people to the local people who own the wash systems, who are using it, the demand from them, this is what will drive quality service delivery from the operator of the systems. And the second pillar is about the supply, the infrastructure side, and the professional management of the service. We believe that when the demand is there, and then you have professional service management, this will reinforce the demand, and this will help the scalability of the system. And then the governance aspect. One of the big problems we have in Haiti is that you have the systems. When you take the wash system, it's fragmented. The governance pillar ensure that there is coordination, there is alignment with the national standards, so that the system can last, the impact can last over time, even after the project and program closure. Next slide, please. Okay, so in this slide, I'm sharing with you what NWASH is seeing on the ground by implementing this 3-pillar model. So on the first pillar, the demand side, we have evidence that the demand approach, starting with the demand approach, create ownership. And ownership, this is what drives the sustainability of the system. So we're seeing that in the communities where we're working, you have the household. They are building their own latrines or toilet and hand washing stations with their own funds without external subsidy. And this creates the condition for the investment in the water infrastructure. And the same people in the community also, they are so engaged that they elect water plant committee. They decide on tariffs to pay for the water. And this makes the system self-sustained. And on the right side of the screen, those are some verbatims from an evaluation NWASH has done this in December 2025. You have the mayor, you have a local authority, Kazakh, saying that if there is an household who didn't build their own toilet, the project wouldn't have taken place. So this show you there is a collective reinforcement of the norms toward the importance of good sanitation condition, and this reinforce behavior change. And we have also this these comments are from a community member in a community named Caroline in Cavaillon, saying that when they pay for the water, they don't consider that they are buying it. They consider that they are saving funds when the system breaks so that they can repair it. Next slide, please. Okay, so about the second pillar of NWASH, like I said before, so when you create the community, when you engage the community to own the service, to understand the importance of the water services, importance of clean water, importance of good sanitation and hand washing. So now, if you want this condition you create to stick, you need to ensure that the service is there, the infrastructures are there, and they are well managed. Okay, so this is the infrastructure aspect of it. And the result we are having now, we have several communities where we've been implementing interventions. So the water points we've inaugurated 5 years ago, they are still functioning through the water point committees. And this decreased the time to fetch water from hours to less than 30 minutes, which gave us basic service. And we have this commune, Cavaillon, where, not Cavaillon, Pillon, where currently the service, water service is close to 24/7. This is the only place in Haiti where we have this result, and this happened through the NWASH model. Next slide, please. Now on the local governance aspect. So I've told you about the challenge. One of the challenge of Haiti is fragmented systems, where you have several NGOs coming, implementing projects, but those projects are not coordinated with the local government. They are not coordinated with the regulator of the sector. In Haiti, we have DINIPA, which is the regulator of the water and sanitation sector. So the governance pillar, this is what will ensure that Haiti will go from, NGO-led projects to locally led and scalable water services. Even after the NGO goes, the system, the existing system, through the local authorities, through the regulator of the water and sanitation system, they will be strong enough to do the next step and replicate the model, make it scalable. So, and in our communes where we're working, we're seeing active engagement, ownership from the local authorities. They are leading commune action planning about water and sanitation by prioritizing interventions. And when there is an NGO coming, they say, okay, so we have our plan. So let's do this first, and then we're gonna do this second. And we also see local authorities monitoring the performance of the water systems. They request reports, monthly reports from the operators of the water systems, and they oversee the progress in terms of sanitation and hygiene. And also we're seeing water point committees, water systems contributing back to the local authorities and the regulator of the water system, of the water sector, so that these funds can be used to create additional intervention in neighboring villages to make it sustainable. And on the right side of the screen, you have some testimony from Mayor of Cavaillon saying that, okay, now, thanks to the NWASH model, when there is a breakdown in a community, we don't need to call NWASH or other partners to come and fix the water system. There is enough fund in the bank account of the water point committee so that they can implement maintenance or repair actions. And there is also water point committee representatives saying that, okay, so the approach create coordination between the different actors. Now we're working hand in hand with local authorities, with DINEPA, to make the the system work. So thank you. Uh, if you have questions, I'm open to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex, and thank you, Barb, for your wonderful presentations. And we do have some questions for both of you, actually. Barb, you had used an acronym in your presentation, ODF. Can you please explain what that stands for again?
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for that question. ODF stands for Open Defecation Free. So that is a status that a community strives for, that talks about whether or not people have latrines in the community, households have latrines and use them. Those of us who have indoor plumbing um, have an entirely different way of thinking and working around defecation. In some communities and in some countries, along the continuum of development, defecation is still practiced in agreed upon areas in communities. And part of this entire program is about having communities achieve open defecation free status in order to be able to qualify for the second part of the infrastructure piece. So they have to sign on to be open defecation free in order to be able to participate in the infrastructure pieces, because it's in there. The interventions are needed in order to be able to meet the health requirements for that.
Yeah,
So thank you.
thank you.
Hopefully that's good. Hopefully that answers it. Yeah.
Yes, it does very well. And I think Alex touched upon that as well, how important it is to have the community involvement in that. Alex, how can hand wash model be replicated in other communities in Haiti? You mentioned that it was very successful in one. Um, but how can it be replicated in other communities and in other low and middle income countries? Is this an example that we can use elsewhere?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the question. So my answer is yes, without hesitating, because NWASH is not a one-off infrastructure project. It's a system strengthening approach and program. And in every places in Haiti or outside of Haiti where there is need for system strengthening in the white sector, uh, we can adapt the NWASH model and replicate it. But we are still in the learning phase, because currently at NWASH we are doing intervention in 5 pilot communes. This is the phase 1, the learning phase. Bob has talked about NWASH 2.0. NWASH 2.0 is the phase 2, and so those phases will allow us to scale inside Haiti. And after scaling inside Haiti, the plan might be to go outside of Haiti, because every strategic phases, we have new objectives, and also just generate learning. And you know that we cannot scale without learning. Yeah, I hope this answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you. Barb, a question for you. I've seen some of the global grants that have gone to hand wash, and they're quite large, and there's a lot of involvement from a variety of clubs and districts and so forth. But what advice would you give for smaller clubs who may not have the resources to do such a grand project? How can we help them while still applying these building blocks that you talked about to make a real impact?
Thanks, Jeanette. That's a great question, and that's exactly what we need to do. And I think the first thing that we want to do, and to follow up on Alex's comment, we are a learning organization, and Handwash is a learning organization, and the Rotary Foundation is a learning organization. So we need to create the structures and the opportunities where everyone who wants to participate can, at whatever level makes sense for that particular group. So possibly it would be something where a number of clubs could join together, right? Or could put something together as a consortium, if you will, and participate in a larger global grant or a larger programmatic effort around hand wash.
Okay, thank you. And going back to hand wash, Alex, there was a question in the chat about corruption. And I guess it's, things you hear in the news. How much corruption, if any, is involved in these hand wash projects that we're doing in Haiti? And how do you ensure that that doesn't happen?
Yeah. So this question is about accountability, and accountability is a big piece of the work NOH is doing. We ensure that the operator of the water systems are accountable to the community they serve, and that also they are accountable to the mayor and to the regional and national regulator of the system. And how do we do that? When there are fees collected, water fees collected, those funds are not doesn't go in the pocket of the manager of the system. They go into a bank account, and in this bank account, the water plant committee cannot withdraw money without the approval of the regulator of the water sector and the mayor. And also, there are every month, it is a requirement that the water plant committee meets with the subscribers. We don't call them beneficiaries, we call them subscribers because this is a business-oriented approach. We call them subscribers. So the water plant committee has to meet with the subscribers, present to them the book, of the bank book, to show them, okay, we had this money, this level of money last month. We did those expenses. Here's what remains, and this has worked because currently we have communities which has been inaugurated 2 to 3 years ago. We have $400 in the bank account saving, $700. In the context of Haiti, a low-income country. So having $700 in a bank account for a community of 25 to 40 households, that's a lot of money. So, and this is an indicator of how well those funds have been managed. Thank you.
So I think if I can add, Jenna, I think the other thing, in addition to what Alex just said, I think the mentality is a mentality of development, not a mentality of charity, right? So these are systems strengthening things for the communities to own their own services, their own identity, the things that matter to them. This is how they do that.
So I hear you say that the community themselves, obviously through the community needs assessments, they have the buy-in. And because they are subscribers and they're paying for that service, it's more meaningful to them. Alex, there was a question that was asked, how much do these subscribers pay for the water on an average month, would you say?
Okay, so the subscribers, you have to look at it on at the geographic level. You have in the rural areas, we have water point committees, and in the urban area, we have what we call professional operators for water systems in urban area. So now I'm gonna explain to you how both of them work. In the rural areas, you have the water point committee doesn't decide by themselves how much the customers has to pay. They do community meetings. All the subscribers come together. They decide based on their revenue, income, how much they can pay. So that's why you're gonna have uh, uh, the number won't be the same, but on average, it's between one and one US dollars and $1.5 US dollars per month in the rural areas. And there is a budgeting process created with the community doing the support we give during the creation of the water point committee, so that there is a budget created and we make sure that the income is sufficient to cover operation and maintenance costs, and that also there is saving for future if any. And in the urban area, it's different. The customers doesn't decide how much to pay. It's the national regulator of the water sector who decide. They have they set the tariffs, and then the customer and then the professional operator apply the tariff set by the national regulator. And in general, they pay per gallon, and it's 1 Haitian goods per gallon.
Okay, thank you.
One
And
something
actually, we
one
have a
cent.
we have a lot of other questions that are being asked. So if I could ask Alex and Barb to please drop your contact information in the chat box. I know hand wash is available to come to your clubs via Zoom, maybe sometimes in person, depending on where you are. But they would be more than happy to make a presentation to your club. So if you, Alex and Barb, could please drop your contact information in there. And with that, I would like to turn the call over to my friend, Rotary International Director, Patrick Eakes.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. And all I can say is, wow, Barb and Alex, on behalf of all of us on this call, thank you for the incredible, life-changing, sustained effort and sustainable impact that you are having in Haiti. I have watched your efforts for years. I have supported financially and certainly encouraged. It's just remarkable what you all are doing and continue to do. And I know that you're just getting started. I do know that. So thank you so much. It occurs to me, the Rotary Foundation has been a world-class charitable organization for decades. It's been recognized as such. I think about the leadership in starting the polio effort, at one time operating the largest non-governmental scholarship program in the world, innovation with the Peace Centers, and certainly Charity Navigator now for 2 decades has recognized that we have a top flight charity, but it has never rested on its laurels. And I think 2013 is when we started this new approach that we want to be sure that the projects that we implement, the communities who we help, that we do so in a sustainable way. And I thought that was revolutionary 13 years ago when that came in. In fact, I was about to be a district governor and I had been a Rotary Foundation chair. So I was really paying attention to that. Part of that was we want local buy-in. We want local needs assessment. We want to be sure that what we're doing is meaningful, is the highest use of our dollars. And I think that was a step forward. And now we're taking a leap forward with this model of input, output, outcome, impact, and recognizing what each of those is and what it isn't, frankly, to be sure that what we do is going to be sustained, that what we do matters, that it's the highest use of our time and our resources. And frankly, that the projects that we put in will outlive us. And I mean, outlive us individually. And maybe just as importantly, that a key component of that impact is that we change the long-term behavior of our beneficiaries or our subscribers, those who live with the upgrades and the opportunities that are created through our work. And that's not a small thing to change those long-term behaviors, but that is such a central element of what sustainability looks like. So I continue to marvel. I mean, I'm an active participant with the Rotary Foundation, but I continue to marvel with the way we have reinvented ourselves as an organization and as the individuals who are part of it to get better and better, to be more responsible, to be sure we create impact. It's incredible. Now, I want to pivot for just a second because it occurred to me as I was listening to these incredible presentations, the opportunity we have as members of the family of Rotary, the opportunity we have to be able to participate in life-changing, sustainable projects like this. And there are lots of ways that you can do that. You do not have to have a fully formed project. You can raise your hand and say, I'm interested in clean water, or I'm interested in basic educational literacy, or any of our areas of focus. And our Regional Rotary Foundation team is going to get you connected, help you get plugged in to a place where you can operate and you can make a difference in your area of interest. We have resources, as I mentioned, our Rotary Foundation team. We have our cadre of technical advisors who are true technical experts. We have action groups that can allow you to get involved with an area that you are particularly interested in. All you have to do is raise your hand, and you can bring what you have. It could be technical expertise that you have. It could be financial skills, because the financial tracking is so important to all of this. We want to be good stewards of the money. It could be marketing ability, because we want to be sure that we publicize what we're doing and we attract more partners. There are any number of ways that you can get involved. You could be your network, the people that you know around the world who are able to bring some of those skills. But I want to encourage you, I want to call on you to raise your hand, to get involved, and to pursue that which you are passionate about. And of course, the last way you can get involved, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say you can support financially. You can always do that. So I appreciate, Sandra, I appreciate the invitation to be with you this evening. And again, I'm inspired what I heard tonight. It was a true treat. And I'll turn it back over to you now, Sandra.
Thank you very much. Thanks for those closing comments, Patrick. I always appreciate listening to what you have to say and how we can get involved. I want to thank also Barb and Alex for their incredibly wonderful presentations this evening. It's always amazing to me the impact that we can make working together with the Rotary Foundation. I want to give a really big shout out to our behind the scenes group as well. Sometimes I forget to say this, but Carolyn Majette has done a great job organizing all the technology. And this evening we have Charlie Rogers and Karen Pinder behind the scenes helping Jeanette with the questions and the Q&A. I will take a look and see if there are any questions that we can send to Barb and Alex, and we'll try to get those back out to you with some responses. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I'd like you to mark your calendars for our next monthly Foundation Matters webinar. It will be on May 21st at 6 p.m. And we're going to be talking about creating your club's foundation action plan. And this is a great time to be doing this in preparation for the new Rotary year. So please encourage the president-elects and your foundation chairs to join us. And once again, we do open our webinar to anyone in the world that would like to join us. And I know we had a few folks from outside of our zones. I truly appreciate you being here. Once again, thank you for spending your evening with us. And we will share the recording as soon as it's available in the next few days. Thank you very much and have a good evening.